is no longer having people in the Mid-Hudson region or anywhere around the state have to sit there and take a top-down approach to economic development. It's no longer all me telling you what to do. It's no longer New York City telling you what to do. It's having each individual region, 10 of those right now, develop a team that ends up identifying your priorities, identifying your projects, which are your priorities, identifying those areas that will build your capacities up so that we can strengthen this area. And that is exactly the whole regional council concept. It is having, as we mentioned, President Murray and Len, who is going to be leading the council, an extraordinary group of professionals on the council. And this is going to be basically people from the Mid-Hudson region coming together and first of all, working on a strategic plan. We're asking, as part of this project, that you come up with a 5-year plan for economic development and growth. A 5-year plan, again, prioritizes your strengths and projects. They will also focus on building your capacities, trying to grow those so we can either retain or we can recruit new businesses in here to the region. A 5-year plan that is laid out, and then the next part is the governor has gone out and through a variety of steps that he's taken, the governor has amassed a total of $1 billion in real money from a variety of sources and funds that will fund economic development. And there's a competitive process to this. As each region ends up identifying their strategic plan, there is going to be an application process, a unified application process. So that means everybody from this region coming together, laying out their plan. They are due in November. There will be announcements for who will win and who will be awarded some of that money I just mentioned in December. But each region, and Mid-Hudson being right at the forefront, has the ability to win several $1 million in funding for what are your priorities right here. And the governor's point is no longer top-down, no longer shopping every single area of the state for funding and support. Because as these councils meet, one of the things that Governor Cuomo has done in a very short time, he's aligning state government. Now, when I was a mayor in Rochester, I used to describe state government in many ways as a loosely knit confederacy. All the different departments and agencies. You might go to one and apply for something if you're a business owner. You might then go and apply to another, and then pretty soon you might get 3 or 4 steps down the road, but you are stymied at one point by yet perhaps another agency in the state. At the regional councils, when we meet, and I'll be at every single one of those, unless there's an emergency, I'm honored to be asked by the governor to chair these. I'll be joining Len and President Murray at the Mid-Hudson, every one of the meetings. One of the things that is going to be most important is we're going to have the leadership of all the state agencies. And if the top commissioners cannot be there, their number 2s will be there. So in that room will be the heads of transportation, labor, Empire State Development, all the different areas, the DEC, all the different agencies that will impact business and growth. So as opposed to going down a path and not having an answer, or finding that sometimes state government can become, in the past, perhaps an impediment, we are here to be a facilitator, to help, to be at that table. So when you identify your priorities in the Mid-Hudson region, we are there to help facilitate that. And that is really at the forefront of what we're trying to accomplish. I say this kiddingly, as a former mayor, if I had this in Rochester, I'd probably be doing cartwheels down my hallway in my office, because it's not how it was done in the past. This is not how the process worked. And we are where we are today in New York State, not so much because of the recession, which has impacted all of us to some degree. In many ways, it's self-inflicted wounds. It's bureaucracy, it's headaches, it's frustration that permeates this. And one of the stories that, while Len is not speaking up here today, for Len's life, one of the things that he mentioned to me, when he started his business, and here's a man who is a medical doctor by trade, highly educated, started his business. Who he went to was a state under then Governor Mario Cuomo. And then Governor Cuomo, the first Governor Cuomo, was able to provide some help and kept Regeneron here, and not going to Connecticut or Pennsylvania or New Jersey, to keep it here. So looking at what the state can do, and we've, now we're at the point in 2011, I think we have the ability to find funding and streamline the process to make it easier. And what we are hoping to do with this process, as you identify your priorities, and the challenge will be you doing it, not us telling you. My role as chair is going to be pretty simple. My role as chair is to make sure that Glenn and President Murray can do their job with this council. They can work through, and perhaps I would see my role as facilitating, as making sure the state is there to help, and then letting the super talented people on this council do their work and get out of the way and let them do it. And so when all the work is done, it is the Mid-Hudson region that's getting it done and doing it. I think that's the most important thing that we can do. This process is transformational. This is different than how we've done business in the past. And one of the things that we have to make sure that we do is follow through. Now, I'll give you a couple of thoughts in terms of what's going to happen. I mentioned the process for application for the $1 billion in funding. It's going to be finalized, the applications due in November, announcements in December. In September, there's going to be an event in the Capitol. The governor will host a full-day event, and what we will do in that full-day event is have some experts in economic development from around the country in Albany speak. We'll be offering help and assistance to any of the regions that would need it, be it with the planning process or anything else. We are there to help you. We're there to assist in any way that we can. It'll be a great networking event, so it'll be a chance to get maybe establish relationships across different regions. And so that will be there. And these councils, as we work month to month, in the first few months, there may be as many as 2 meetings per month. Down the road, perhaps maybe 1. But in the early stages, they will be staffed by Empire State Development. We have a great team at ESDC, so day-to-day operations by Empire State Development. We will have facilitators there for planning process. We're putting things in place, organizing to make it easier, because the people on the councils that we have selected are people who are busy, successful. They have incredibly busy careers and lives outside of this, but we need them. We need their time, their effort to help make this happen. So our job is to make it much easier for them by having all the resources that we can in place for those councils. Now, aside from the basic regional councils, the governor also has put in place here kind of an oversight, overarching council. There will be one statewide group, and I will chair that as well, and it will consist of each of the 2 co-chairs. So both Glenn and President Murray will be on from Mid-Hudson Regional Council, and 2 of the co-chairs. Each of the regional councils will be on this. And they will have business and labor and local government and not-for-profits that will be involved. It's statewide leadership on that. And there's a few things that this council will do. First of all, if there's any disputes among the councils or differences, we can resolve those and have everybody at the table to do that. I think the most important thing is creating a sense of synergy across the state. What Governor Cuomo did not want to do with this effort was create an upstate versus downstate, which has been done in the past. In the past, we've had upstate economic development, we've had downstate economic development. We don't want to create that. We've had people talk in the past about splitting the state. It'll be the worst thing. What the governor wants to do is bring the state together. So part of the whole thought process with this overarching council is to make sure that we can connect through relationships. Try and make much more of a synergistic relationship across all the councils and all the regions than we have right now. And one thing we don't want a company, say in Midtown Manhattan, who wants to expand, say a call center, to have to look to neighboring states to do that. We want them to look maybe to Mid-Hudson region, maybe Binghamton, maybe Messina, Rochester, Watertown in this state. And I think through this large council, we start creating those relationships. There may be a whole supply chain network capability to bring people together. If one company that does manufacturing in North Country needs to connect with suppliers, maybe that supplier is in the Mid-Hudson region, maybe it's on Long Island. But I don't think we do that enough, connecting it down to the state. And the most important thing, I don't mind being parochial, is everything we do in this effort, every job that we create, and the governor's number one priority is jobs, is to be a New York family that's going to benefit, a mom and dad that put food on the table, that put their kids through college, pay their mortgage payment, and it is about keeping money as much as we can, keeping jobs in the state. And what we've lost, we want to work to get back, and what we have the capacity to grow. And a couple thoughts I just would also offer on these competitive issues. You have so much to offer in this region. I'm